Hey, I wanted to make a video to help you out with your exit ticket for Unit 1, Day 2. So this is about data distribution, and we're going to be looking at a lot of data and doing it in Desmos. So I'm going to show you here what we got. We are on Unit 1, Day 2 exit ticket, and we are going to open up our document right here. And we're starting on question number 1. We have 4 main questions here. You can see these. Question 2, question 3, question 4, and a bonus one, all right? But let's start with question 1. Timeline data. Do you remember last class? You filled out that form with all of your important events in your life. So T stands for timeline data. These are all the years that you guys submitted as the most important moments in your life. Now, we need to copy and paste this data into Desmos. So let's open up Desmos right now. Here we have Desmos. Let's go back here. Let's highlight my data. Let's do Control C or copy. Then we are going to go and try and paste it. Oh, there's no way to paste it, so I have to do Control V. I have to use hotkeys sometimes. So Control V didn't work. Now, sometimes when you try and copy and paste stuff, it doesn't seem to work the first time. I don't know why that is. So I'm going to try again. Control C, Control V. Copy, copy, copy. And paste. Paste. How did we get it to work before? We could paste it up here. Control C. We could copy it there and then see if that pastes in. That worked. Well, that's very strange. Sometimes Desmos is weird with copying and pasting, so we have to play around with it. I don't know if this is Desmos' fault or if this is the fault of the Google document, but that's annoying. I'll have to try and figure out a better way to do that. Once we get our data copied and pasted into Desmos, we are going to make 3 different histograms. So our first histogram is going to have, I'll just take this, paste it in here. Our first histogram is going to have a bin size of 1. That means each year is going to count up the number of important events that you guys said happened in that year. So the way to actually see this graph is you're going to want to select on this thing that says zoom fit, and it's just going to jump right to your graph. Look at that. My favorite way to look at this is the left bin alignment, and that just slides it over, makes it look a little bit nicer. So one of the things you want to do is take a picture of this. So the way I do that is I open up my snipping tool. You may have a different thing on your Chromebook, but I come in here, I snip this. I missed it. Here we go. Here's a good snip. I take Control C, Control V, and I just paste it right in there. I use the sides. I don't resize it like this because then that squishes it, and that's no good. So I use the edges and resize it, and it keeps the aspect ratio. So that's what it looks like for every single year. We count out the important moments. But what if we pretended we wanted to look at if we broke it not into every year, but into groups of 4 years. So like college is 4 years, high school is 4 years, middle school might have been 4 years. So what happens if we count things in groups of 4 years? So let's put that in here and look at this. When you make the bins bigger, there are more events in there, so the bars go taller. And you can see they kind of match up. They have the same general shape here when as the original one. So I want to take a copy of this one too. Bring it on over. Control C, Control V, and I go ahead resize that. Now, What about this? I chose 14 because a lot of us in class are 14 years old, years old, 16. So I wanted to know how many important events have happened in the span of your whole life. So let's click this and actually look at it. Ooh, again, we jump up way higher. And again, you can see why it jumps there because underneath you see the old histogram. So let's take a snip of this one, copy, and paste. Okay, now we have a bunch of different codes to run. We're going to run the mean, which is code for the average. We're going to run the minimum and the maximum. So that's the smallest number and the largest number. I'm just going to take these, copy, and paste. Boom, 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 boom. Copy and paste. So my min comes next. And then my max comes next. All right. And I think I need to move my face a little bit because it might be covering up some of these, or I'll just slide it up like that. So my mean, the average that I have for all of my important moments, let's bring it back to this one because I think this is the most accurate one. My average was saying that in 2011, that was the average most important year, which is weird because it's really low here, but I think it's because it's balancing these two big spikes. It's trying to find the balance of the data here. So my answer would be 2011. Now remember, when you answer things, you need to change the color and make it bold. That helps me grade, otherwise I'll miss it. Now your minimum is the lowest, the smallest year, 1929. Somebody put something in here that was important to them in 1929. What the heck was that? Well, I actually know because I went and looked it up, which is kind of cool. That is Mr. Goldammer's grandma's birthday. So that is when Mr. G, when Mr. G's grandma was born. That's super awesome. Highlight it and put it bold. All right. So now, max. What is the maximum year that was turned in? The maximum year here is 2024. What is cool / weird about that year? Think about it. It's 2020. High school is 4 years. You are going to graduate. You will graduate in 2024. So that's actually really cool that somebody, as their most important event or as an important event in their life, they put their graduation. Now, this one is a subjective question. What year is the most important to your students? I think that that is going to be the year that has the highest spike. So let's look at this. I think that this graph, the one with every year being important, is the best one to look at. Now, you can see there are two really good years with spikes. These two spikes are the ones that are winning. 2020, a lot of people reported important things happening now, and 2005 or 2006. What's happening in 2005, 2006? A lot of your birthdays. So I think that you could have two answers. I think that 2005 and 2006 are super important because of birthdays. I also saw that people reported 2020 as very important because it is current year. You could put a bunch of stuff in here. There's no wrong answer as long as you tie this to the graph. For instance, I actually think if it was about teachers, this spike right here, maybe this is teachers saying stuff about when they graduated high school or college, maybe they got married or their kids were born or something. There's a spike here right there in 19 '89, or the early 1990s. All right. Now, is this data, how is it distributed? Normal, left skewed, right skewed, or bimodal? Remember, bimodal means two, like a bicycle has two wheels, and this clearly has two spikes. So we are going to say that my answer is bimodal. There we go. Let's highlight and make that red. So we've answered all the questions here for our timeline data, the data that we actually submitted last class. So you're going to do the same thing for the percentile data from star scores. These are the star scores of my students from last year. That's the percentile rank. So you're going to take some pictures of that. Then there's going to be the actual points that they earned on that test. And that's going to be in comparison with other kids in other high schools. So this is the raw scores that they got. We're going to do the same thing there. And then these are the grade levels. So I teach ninth grade, but people came in with a lot of different grade levels for their math. And so this is a report on that. And then if you wanted to keep going, there's a bonus one for Fortnite. So you'll have to read that. I don't actually give you very many pointers because for bonus stuff, you're going to be seeing and challenging yourself. Okay? If you ever need help, hit me up, send me a text, send me an email, come see me during office hours. Let's figure out how to get this done. All right, good luck.